So to start off, these are the things you need. It's diesel in a jug, number 2 paintbrush, then smaller half paintbrush, soft bristle toothbrush, and a container, a pan. So with the bike on a stand, the rear wheel is lifted up, I'll begin to clean the bike chain. So with that container, you put in a bit of diesel, so that's about half a cup of diesel. Then with number 2 paintbrush, you start wetting the chain from the rear cog. So make sure to soak up all the diesel. Then you spread on the chain ring on the rear cog. So if I had 2 hands available, I just turn the chain and wet the chain at the same time. So this is easier with 2 hands, but basically that's the idea. Just wet the chain with diesel for the meantime. Make sure the insides of the links are wet. So now that the entire length of the chain is wet with diesel, so it needs to be dripping wet, you now begin to brush the chain link. So what you do is, with the brush fixed on top of the chain link, you just spin your bike using your other hand. You spin in order to let the chain ring just pass through the brush, making sure that you get all 4 sides. So what I normally do is do the top first, then the side, then move here for the other side of the chain link, so that there, and the outer part of the chain link, so there. Then what you do is, you don't brush on the chain ring, you let the chain pass through the brush, holding the brush steady. So that's it. I'll do that and show you the result afterwards. So basically, once you're done, that's how your bike chain should look like. It's wet with diesel. Now the next thing you should do is, afterwards, you wash off the excess diesel with water. Just using a hose, spray off the excess diesel trapped inside the chain. So I'll do that, then I'll show you what the next step is. Yep, so after the excess diesel is washed off with pressurized water, you're now ready to, me personally, you don't have to do this, you just need to wipe the bike clean, but me, I personally don't want to touch my chain and have it be dirty. So if you have time, just get soapy water, put it in the container. I use liquid soap, ordinary liquid soap. Then with the same process as you do with diesel, you do with the soapy water. So just dip the brush in soapy water, getting the brush clean and your container clean at the same time. Just brush on the liquid soap onto the chain, get it wet, and once the entire length of the chain is wet, you again proceed to brush your chain with the soft bristle toothbrush. So again, just hold the brush in place, then you spin the crank to turn the chain ring. So it basically, what you're doing is you're letting the chain clean itself. So that's it. I'll go do that, then I'll show you the end result. So now that I'm done brushing off the chain with soapy water and just rinsing it off with pressurized water again. So this is the end result. As you can see, the bike chain is clean, very clean. Yeah. When you touch it with your fingers don't get dirty. So that's a clean bike chain. I also went ahead and cleaned the rear cassette and the front derailleurs and crank, as well as the rear derailleur. So it's also clean now, just using the soapy water and just the paintbrush. So as you can see, my fingers aren't even dirty. So you might ask, why use diesel when you can use penetrating oil or WD-40? I prefer to use diesel for two reasons. One is it can clean the surface of the bike, of the chain. Then the other one would be it leaves an oil residue once it's put on. It doesn't dry up like gas or gasoline. So for me, that's a bonus. So it lubricates the in between the links of the chain. So that's why I use diesel. You can use WD-40 if you have the money, if you can afford buying penetrating oil. So what I do is I clean my chain after about 4 hours or 3 hours riding. So it gets pretty messy. So that's why I tend to use diesel, because it costs less. So that's it. Now I'm going to wipe the chain, the chainstay, and the derailleurs, and the cassette and the crank. I'm going to wipe it all dry, and after I wipe it dry, I'll show you how to put on the oil that I use. I just use plain mineral oil. So that's what I use. So I'll show you after I wipe this down and let it dry. I'll show you how to put on the oil to protect your chain from rusting. So wait. So I'm done cleaning the bike. So what I did was I cleaned the chain first, then before I dried the entire bike, I just cleaned the frame, the front shocks, the tires. I cleaned the whole bike before wiping it dry, to save time. And it's the best thing to do is to clean your chain first, then make sure that's all clean, then you clean your entire bike. Then afterwards you just wipe it dry. So it's just a plain ordinary rag. So you what you do is you just wrap the rag around the chain, making sure that you don't hit the spokes. So you wrap the rag around the chain, making sure that it's just enough pressure. Don't put too much pressure, because that would prevent the chain from passing through the rug. Then you just spin the crank, and you clean your bike chain, or you wipe the bike chain dry with a simple 1 peso rag. So that's what you do. And after it's all dry, then it's time to lubricate the entire chain with what I use is just motorcycle gear oil. So I'll show you the oil. So this is the oil I use. It's just plain and simple gear oil. It's mineral based. So that's it. basically what I use to lubricate my bike chain and my motorcycle chains. So this is the lube, and what I use to apply the oil on the bike chain is this syringe. The syringe has a tip, a gauge 18 tip needle. Just what I do is you take the cap off, and with the tip of the needle pointed on the in between the chain, you just press on or apply the oil, about 2 cc of oil. Sorry, the video got cut off. What I use is I just squeeze on the oil in between the chain while I turn the crank, so that lubricates the chain ring. Then what you do is you don't want excess lubricant on the sides of your chain. You just want it on top and on the bottom and in between. So to avoid making your chain dirty or promoting dirt to stick on your chain, you just wipe off the excess oil off the chain, just the same as wiping off water. So just hug the chain with a rag and turn the crank. So that's it. Basically, that's how I clean, lubricate, and maintain my chain ring after I think about 3 hours riding, 4 hours riding. So that's it. Easy, simple, cheap. Thank you.